What's happening, family? It's Cast Sports again. Back for another afternoon with my people. Now, as usual, let me give a shout out to the Just T community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Greg Patterson. Mike Mason, Just Do Boxing, The Voice, Freestyle Media Sports. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Historian. This is the Wednesday afternoon edition. When I was starting, I was looking at Just Dude's name. I said Just. Let's get rid of his name at the beginning. But how's everybody doing today? It's Wednesday, the old hump day. You get 2 profiles this week. Jay Hardcore had asked me to do a show on Cus D'Amato, so here it is. It's a good one too. I was up all night working on it. Hope everybody enjoys it. There's Cus right there. Mm-hmm. Legendary trainer. He is in the house. Ray Patterson and Just Cus. New Jersey in here deep. Salute to everybody. Appreciate you stopping by today on this hump day. In the middle of a big week. Got a big profile coming up Friday too. The Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran himself, one of the legendary 4 kings. But today it's going to be a legendary manager and trainer, Cus D'Amato. Everybody knows the story. Built Mike Tyson into a world champion. Didn't live to see him become champion, of course. I think he passed away like a year before. We're going to get into it. The Don King got his hooks into him. If Cus had lived, Don King, Robin Givens, whatever the lady's name that he went to jail for rape for. What was she doing up in the man's hotel room 2 o'clock in the morning? You know, what did she think they were going up there for? To read a book? Mike was going up there to get the goodies. I don't know what she was going up there for. She was going up there to get a suitcase. You know, but she was a slimy person. You know, she wanted money. If Cus had been alive, Mike wouldn't even have been at that beauty pageant in the first place, right? We're going to get into all that today. Freestyle Media Sports, hashtag JBT in the building. Hope everybody subscribe to him by your channel. He calls fights too. Yeah. Freestyle Media Sports. I was over there a couple weeks ago. The Richardson Hitchens fight. Yeah. And Lima. That was a good one. And you know it's fight week. Yeah, I saw the thing yesterday, Mike, the fake what was it, a choke or I don't know what it was. But you know, they trying to sell tickets, but that's not gonna sell any tickets because everybody knows it's fake. Right? What were they doing having a press conference on Tuesday anyway? I thought the final press conference is normally on Thursday. And then everybody's talking about Ryan's was mental. Bill Haley sounded like a deranged idiot yesterday. You know, he's really going overboard trying to sell tickets. But I think the stuff coming out of Bill's mouth is having the opposite effect, keeping people from buying tickets. Talking about his son is coming in there to kill him and all that kind of nonsense. He's saying Ryan was crazy. Ryan sounded like a genius next to that nonsense coming out of Bill's mouth. Yeah. Sound just like a deranged idiot yesterday. Nope, I'm not buying it. I'm a boxing fan, but I'm not buying that nonsense. It's gonna be a sleep fest. Devin will probably run around the ring for 12 rounds. But I don't know, Ryan might Derek James might have a good plan, but Old School made a good point. Derek will have a good plan, but will Ryan carry it out? Hank joked on him about their fake beef, or whatever you want to call it. What was it? A hug? I mean, a choke? A slap? What was it? I still haven't figured it out yet. I know one thing, it was fake. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But did ticket sales go up any? I haven't been paying attention since the beef yesterday. We're going to get into this Cus D'Amato about 10 more minutes. Give a few of my people more time to get in the building. But I got a good one for you. It's a lot, too. All the way back when Mike was because he had a couple more world champions too. He had Floyd Patterson way back there. He had Jose Torres. Yeah. And Cus is in the International Boxing Hall of Fame too. Got a nice big legacy. Had some great trainers come up under him. He tutored Teddy Atlas, Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney took over Mike after Cus passed, but then Don King fired him. Don King got all of Cus's people out the picture after Cus passed away. Yeah. Don moved on in. Buster Douglas would have never beat Mike if Cus was alive, because Cus would have had him over there in shape, ready to go. Would have got done. Been another one of those 2 or 3 round knockouts. But you know, that's just one of them things. Remo, hashtag Let's Talk Fashion, hashtag JBT in the building. Salute to Remo. We had another hashtag Let's Talk Fashion this morning, Wednesday. Time comes around fast, man, I tell you. And then Remo, that's hashtag Let's Talk Fashion is every day. And the rest of us is like 3 or 4 times a day. We got the Monster coming up soon too against Louis Neri. That's May 6th. His brother's on the card this time. Yeah. That's smart. Put his brother on there and get his name out there. His brother's a world champion too. Has one of the belts that Monster dropped when he left bantamweight. E-Class in the building. Salute E-Class. Welcome to another episode of Gas Sports The Box Story. Because you know, if it's a weekday, 2 o'clock, it's The Box Story. Bring you the boxing history. Today we're going to be talking about Cus D'Amato, legendary trainer and manager too. Yeah. And he became guardian of Mike and a few others. And his wife bought right into it. You know, that was important. You know, she was on board with it, with these troubled youth into her home and became like a mother figure to him. So without her, you know, Cus wouldn't have been able to do it. But she welcomed them in. We're going to talk about her too. They were never married. Just what we call it, partners for life. Yeah. But just as close as husband and wife, so you know. And then again, they were married. They were together for decades. So what's the difference? Doing the same thing as a married couple, right? Got a little small slide presentation for you today. Lonnie Lee is coming. If it's good weather down there in New Orleans, we won't see old school today. And then, yeah, I changed the format to starting next Thursday of next week. I'm going to drop the link early in the show, and we'll spend the show just chopping it up or down. You can come up and tell me how good I'm doing or how bad I'm doing, you know, whatever. Probably going to drop the link at 3 o'clock on Thursdays, and we have a whole hour to chop it up because I always drop it, you know, within the last half hour, and then we always have to get out of here because the voice is coming up. So we're going to have a whole hour on Thursdays now. Thursdays is going to be the link day. Let's talk about boxing or whatever else that happens to come up. Yeah. You want to hear about, do you think Cus is a good topic, E-Class? Yeah, Jay Hardcore had asked me to do it a couple weeks ago. A show on Cus D'Amato. And anybody else got any ideas, please let me know. Because I need ideas, you know. I mean, y'all are my supporters and fellow JBT members. So you have any ideas, any kind of show you would like to see me do, please let me know, and I'll do it. Or another thing, I had Jay Hardcore, some kind of way I blocked him. I don't know how to get him back on once the show is over. Anybody in the chat know how to do that? I think it happened, Remo said it happened the day where YouTube was having a technical difficulty. Because I was touching all kinds of stuff, but some kind of way I blocked Jay. He thought I was mad at him. Called me yesterday. Yeah, but no, I wasn't even aware of it. Then the other, his JBT network, I had taken his wrench away from him. That was a rough week. Couldn't get on one day. Next day, my stream cut off 3 times, and then I had like 28 likes, one of the biggest like days ever. I woke up the next morning, I only had 11. And then the next day, the 28 was back. Isn't that crazy? Okay, settings and look for J nickname. And okay, unblock it. Okay, thank you, Just Do. I got it. Okay, I'm gonna do that after this show. They probably trying to get in right now. Well, he can comment on the JBT network. I'm gonna fix that. Thank you, Just Do. And we also got a call from the UK this Saturday. Yeah. Oh, I haven't forgot, Remo. I haven't seen Bruce Gass since then. He hasn't been in here all week. So we're gonna get it together. Supposed to be doing something with Coach Kitty too. Yep. Okay, in his chat. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna get that done today. or maybe tonight in his chat, but yeah. You know, now when you block them and the chat is still going on, you can catch it real fast. If the name, you know, is still popping up in your chat, but once it's over, I didn't know how to do it, but now I do. Mhm. Yeah, that's an excellent idea, Remo. Gas on gas. Mhm. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to get into this um show on Cus D'Amato because I got a lot. I got a lot. I was looking at this article today. It says of Devin Haney. It says, can a boring fighter become a must-see attraction? Maybe if he stop trying to be Tank and be himself, maybe he can. You know, that's the problem. He's trying to be something he's not authentic. People like authenticity. But if they see you out there faking, nobody wants to watch that. We want to see Tank. We watch Tank fight, not Devin. Remember the last when he fought Regis, he had the trunks with the strings hanging off. Remember who had trunks on like that before? Tank. Devin wants to be Tank so bad when he grows up. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus in the building. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. Yo, you started your new channel. I never gave you your wrench back. Now you got it back. Okay. Because you had one and then you said you had to start over, remember? So now you're now moderator again, Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. And everybody, remember you had to resubscribe to that, brother. I did it. Okay, let's get ready to do this. The life and career of Cus D'Amato, legendary trainer and manager. What Mike Tyson to prominence, but didn't live to see him win the title. Passed away about a year before. Miss Joette in the building. How are you, Miss Joette? Good to see you. Yeah. And Miss Cass, she'll see you in a minute. I think she was doing something else right this minute. Miss Joette. But she's in here. Okay. Let's start our talk about Cus D'Amato. Okay, I'm gonna turn the music down some. That's why I miss Bare Knuckles, because Bare Knuckles would tell me to turn it down. That's good. Get to the top of my slide presentation. Okay. The life and career of Cus D'Amato. Now, full name was Constantine D'Amato. Born January 17th, 1908, died November 4th, 1985. And remember, Tyson got his title in 1986, so Cus died about a year before. Didn't get to see his people get his title, but he predicted when Mike was at a very young age that he was going to be world champion. And he was right on target with that. Yeah. Oh, that's good, Miss Joelle. Everything's going good. Gotta bring my people this boxing history today. Yeah, now he was a legendary American boxing manager and trainer who handled the careers of some of boxing's greatest fighters in Iron Mike Tyson, Floyd Patterson, and Jose Torres, all of whom went on to be champions, and all three are members of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Right? Now, Cus was not only a trainer to Mike Tyson, he was also a father figure. Became his legal guardian, remember? And Cus has received critical acclaim for his work in the sport of boxing. And he's regarded as one of the greatest trainers of all time. He was posthumously inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1995, presented by Mike Tyson himself. You know, everybody, all athletes, every sport has somebody introduce them, a parent or a friend or a coach, somebody. Cus had Mike. Well, Cus didn't have Mike. Cus wasn't there, but you know, Mike was selected to do the honors. Maybe by Cus's wife or partner. They were never married. But anyway, Mike was his presenter when he went into the Hall of Fame. And several successful boxing trainers, including Teddy Atlas and Kevin Rooney, were tutored by Cus. Okay. Now, Cus was a proponent of the peekaboo style of boxing. He was heavily influential in the creation of that style. And his influence was obvious because all of Cus's fighters, when they performed this technique, it was always to their advantage in fight. Okay? Now, what the peekaboo style was. But Cus is not using it right there. I just thought that was him and Ali. That was a nice little video. Anybody seen it? Now, the style involved defensive positioning, where the hands are kept close to the face and the arms are folded tight to the torso. And what it aims to do is provide extra protection from an opponent's punch, while also enabling you to land a jab to your opponent's face easier. The peekaboo. Now, although the peekaboo was largely successful for Cus's fighters, it was criticized by some others in the sport. Some people believe that, including trainers, that an effective attack could not be launched from the peekaboo style, okay? With your arms in tight like that. Now, everything, a lot of trainers and boxing historians believe that an effective attack couldn't be launched from the peekaboo style. Past sports about story thinks it could, though. I saw Mike Tyson knock a few people out from the peekaboo style, so I know an effective attack can be launched from it, okay? Let's take a look at Cus's early life. Thomas Hill in the building. Salute, Thomas Hill. How are you today, sir? Mr. Mayor. We're talking about Cus D'Amato today. Legendary trainer. Also a manager too, not just a trainer. He was so legendary and such a good trainer that sometimes people forget he was a manager too. Yeah. Had Mike right there. Like Jay Hardcore was saying yesterday, Mike would do anything this man asked him to. Even something he couldn't do, he would try it if Cus told him. That's just how Cus had the belief from Mike, you know. Like I said at the top of the show, Don King, Robin Gibbons, whatever the lady's name at the beauty contest that went to his room 2 o'clock in the morning, Mike wouldn't have, none of them would have even been close to Mike if Cus was still alive. Mike would not even have been at the beauty pageant, you know. And then a woman go to a man's hotel room, first time she met him, 2:00 in the morning. What did she think he was taking her up there for? Show her the curtains? Anyway, Cus's early life. Cus was born into an Italian-American family in the New York City borough of the Bronx on January 17th, 1908, to father Damiano. His father lived from 1868 to 1938, and his mother's name was Elizabeth, maiden name Rosato. He lived from 1875 to 1878, wait a minute. She lived from 1875 to 1913, 38 years, okay? Now, both of Cus's parents were from Torito province, southern Italy, okay? Region Puglia. His father delivered ice and coal in the Bronx using a horse and cart. You know, that was way back then. Didn't even have cars then, okay? Cus had 3 brothers, Rocco, Gerald, and Anthony. Now, at a young age, Cus became very involved and interested in Catholicism, right? And he even considered becoming a priest during his youth. Yeah. Like Tyson might have never got to where he got to. Cus had gone into the priesthood. Wow. Now, Cus had a brief career as an amateur boxer. He fought at featherweight and lightweight, but he was unable to get a professional license because of an eye injury he suffered in a street fight. That's where he had learned to fight, out in the street, right? Okay. And Cus stated in an interview that he did not hold any grudges towards his father for the childhood abuse, as he believed the beatings made him a better and a more disciplined man. And at that time, they weren't called abuse, they were called discipline. Okay? They were called discipline. You know? Sometimes that's what's missing nowadays. You know? Like, I'll tell my granddaughter to stop doing something, and 5 minutes later, she's doing it again. But if she had the threat of that belt on, that little butt hanging over her, I guarantee you she wouldn't do it again. So, yeah, it wasn't abuse in Cus's day. It was called discipline. Okay, let's see what happened when Cus went up into the pro ranks. Okay. Professional career. The shift my slide. Okay. At 22 years old, Cus opened the Empire Sporting Club with Jack Burrell. It's the Empire Sporting Club. And this club was located at the Gramercy Gym. And Cus actually lived in the gym for years. According to Cus, he spent his time at the gym waiting for a champion. But his best fighters were routinely coached by connected managers. You know what that means, because the mafia was big time in sports back then, and the connected managers were stealing Cus's fighters away from him. Lonnie Lee in the building. Salute Lonnie Lee. Cus D'Amato today. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. That is, can't forget that JBT. Just boxing talk, that's all it is. But yeah, Cus was getting a lot of good fighters way back when he first started, but you know, they were getting stolen away by the mafia connected managers. Okay. One fighter discovered by Cus was Rocky Graciano. But he ended up signing with other trainers and managers and went on to become a middleweight champion of the world. And he was discovered by Cus D'Amato. It was way before Tyson and Jose Torres and Floyd Patterson. Cus had championship fighters back then when he was a young man, but you know, the mafia connected managers, you know. And Graciano was rumored to have been in some fights, some throne fights too. Yeah, not above getting involved in a fixed fight. And D'Amato also confronted boxing politics and decided, along with his friend Howard Cosell, to support the International Boxing Club of New York, IBC, which at the time was thought to also be mafia connected. The guy that ran the IBC, Jim Norris, was a suspected mobster. Now, suspicious to the point of paranoia, Cus refused to match his fighters in any fight promoted by the IBC. And after that, he received abusive threats and threatening letters. He was forced to sell his gym for $1 and was forced to move to help protect himself and his stable. Not only was Cus D'Amato a trainer, but he was also a psychologist and instilled a winning mentality for his fighters. Okay, and eventually the IBC was found to be in violation of antitrust laws and was dissolved. That when the government got involved in the early '60s, the IBC was one of the casualties of that when they were getting the mob out of boxing. Yeah. Now, Jim Norris didn't go to jail, but a couple of his, I guess, lieutenants or whatever ended up going to jail behind that. What they were doing in the sport, fixing fights and, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. But they got kicked out of boxing. Well, we still got the Godfather and Mauricio and Don King. And so who needs the Mafia? Well, the Mafia probably was better when we had the Mafia running it. Matter of fact. Okay. Now, Cus trained Floyd Patterson, guided him to his first championship. And Floyd originally fought at middleweight, and he won the American Amateur Championship and the New York Golden Gloves Championship, and also captured the Olympic middleweight gold medal in the 1952 Games in Helsinki. After beginning his career at light heavyweight under the tutelage of Cus, Patterson fought for the title vacated by Rocky Marciano once he moved up to heavyweight. Okay, after beating Tommy Hurricane Jackson in an elimination fight, Patterson faced light heavyweight champion Archie Moore on November 30th, 1956. Moore was the light heavyweight champion and was trying to become heavyweight champion at the same time. But Patterson beat Moore by a knockout in 5 rounds and became the youngest world champion in history at the time. He was 21 years, 10 months, and 3 weeks old. Okay. And it's funny because another Cus D'Amato fighter broke that record and still the youngest heavyweight champion in history. That's Mike Tyson, right? And Patterson also became the first Olympic gold medalist to win a heavyweight world title. First one to accomplish that feat. BBO Boxing TV in the building. Yeah, Uncle Cus. Salute BBO Boxing TV. You said you was coming by for this show. It's Wednesday. Here you are. Good to see you. Put a lot of work into this. Hope everybody's in the building enjoy it. Let's salute the BBO Boxing TV in the building. Okay, let's move on. Well, Miss Cass sure is loud up there. Okay, I think he's arguing with our daughter on the phone. They both just alike. Okay. Oh, let's see now. Where was I? Okay, now Patterson and Cus split after Patterson's second consecutive first round knockout loss to Sonny Liston. Now that wasn't Cus's fault. Sonny Liston knocked a whole lot of people out in the first round, not trained by Cus. I don't know why Patterson left Cus. BN Boxing News in the building. What's happening in boxing news? Yeah. I hope this should be a good one. Not too deep in it. I got like 15 pages of notes. I was up all night getting this ready. The show might be only 2 hours, but sometimes it takes 7-8 hours to prepare them. I'm gonna take a nap when this goes up. I was working hard this morning. Okay. Yeah, he left. He got knocked out by Sonny Liston twice in the first round, so he parted ways with Cus. Like I said, Sonny Liston knocked a lot of people out in the first round that wasn't trained by Cus. So, but also, Cus's influence over Patterson had begun to diminish before that fight. So, and Cus also trained Puerto Rican boxer Jose Torres. Okay, another world champion. And Torres had previously won amateur titles while in the American Army. In May 1965, at Madison Square Garden, Torres defeated International Boxing Hall of Famer Willie Pastrana, the great Willie Pastrana, to become world light heavyweight champion. With the win, Torres became the third Puerto Rican world boxing champion in history and the first Latin American to win the world light heavyweight title. Okay, 3 times. He was the third Puerto Rican to become a world champion and the first Latin American to win the light heavyweight title. Now, he successfully defended his title 3 times before he lost it to Nigerian-born the Great Dick Tiger in 1966. BBO know what I'm talking about, the Great Dick Tiger. Okay. Ooh, you in bed with the flu, Mike? A lot of people been getting that over the last few weeks. Yeah. Well, I hope you feel better, bro. I hope listening to this show on Cus D'Amato might make you feel a little bit better. I hope. Okay, I'm gonna do my best. Okay. But anyway, Jose Torres beat the Great Dick Tiger in 1966. Dick Tiger might have been the first Nigerian world champion too. Now, D'Amato also briefly worked with former basketball player Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt considered entering the sport. Can you imagine that, a 7-foot boxer? We thought the towering inferno Sebastian Fundora was bad. 7 feet in that boxing. Come on, man. He would have had the longest reach in history. Come on, Wilt. I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he just considered it. Now, we get to on Mike. Okay, now, I think of a light bulb on Cus that says, I have found my sonny listed. I'm going to do everything to coddle him, to protect him, to develop him, because he is my revenge on the world. That's what a friend of Cus's, Jax Neufeld, said on Tyson's special role in Cus's life. Okay. After Patterson and Torres's careers ended, Cus worked in relative obscurity for a while. He eventually moved to Catskill, New York, where he opened up another gym. Because remember, he had to sell the other one because of pressure from the and threats from the from the mafia, because he wouldn't match his fighters against him. You know, because Cus had too much integrity to be mixed up in any fixed fights, anything like that. So, but then he opened another gym up in Catskill, New York. Okay, the Catskill Boxing Club. That's where he met and began to work with the future heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson. And at the time Cus met him, Mike was in a nearby reform school. And he ended up being Cus's most notable fighter. And Mike fought from 1985 to 2005, 20 years. And Cus eventually adopted Mike after his mother died. Okay, became his legal guardian after Mike's mother died. Now he met Mike when Mike was 13 years old and moved him into his home. When he found out Mike was getting into street fights, committing robberies, and spending time behind bars. Yeah, Mike was a bad boy. Then Cus began to teach Mike how to transfer his aggression on the streets into the boxing ring. And he educated Mike on previous boxing greats, like the guys he had trained, Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, Sonny Liston, all those guys. And like David said, Mike is like a boxing historian too. He's a student of the sport. Yeah. Big figures and cut the phone. I was keeping track of the chat. Because the laptop is like 10 minutes behind, but the phone is right up. There we go. Bruce Gath, Boxing, Jazz, and more in the building. What's up, Bruce Gath? Talking about Cus D'Amato today. Yeah, so Cus found out all the trouble and all this stuff Mike was doing out on the street. And he moved him into his home, right? After his mother died, he adopted Mike. Okay. And began to teach Mike, how to transfer his aggression that he had on the street into the boxing ring. And he started educating him about previous boxing greats. And he forced Mike to read the biography of Alexander the Great. Then Mike was 16 when Cus became his legal guardian, trainer, and manager. And he trained Mike over the next few years, encouraging him in the use of the peekaboo style, with the hands in front of the face and the arms in close, right? And Cus was briefly assisted by Teddy Atlas in training Mike, right? And later, Kevin Rooney, the protege of Cus, who emphasized elusive movement. Now, it is unclear exactly which age, 11 or 12, that Mike seriously became interested in boxing, becoming a professional boxer. He didn't even know Cus did. There was a guy named Irish Bobby Stewart, a former Golden Gloves champion. He was approached by Tyson while he was working as a counselor at the Tryon School for Boys. Mike was a resident of the Tryon School for Bad Boys, right? And this guy, Mike approached this guy, Irish Bobby Stewart, was like a great legendary amateur fighter. Now, Tyson knew of Stewart's former boxing glory and specifically asked to speak with him. Now, Stewart immediately took a negative attitude toward Mike, because he had witnessed Mike's terrible behavior, at the school. Because Mike was a bad boy on the outside, and then when he got into the system, he still was bad, right? And this guy, Bobby Stewart, at first, he didn't want nothing to do with Mike because he saw how Mike was behaving in there. But eventually, he warmed to him. And he was the one to introduce Mike to Cus, Bobby Stewart, right? So that was a good move when Mike approached him. Yeah. So he ended up introducing Mike to Cus when Mike was 13, 12 or 13. I know I said 13 before, but 12 or 13, somewhere around in there. Because Stewart stated that he had taught Mike all he could. And he had taught Mike all he could about boxing technique and skills. And decided Cus could take it to the next level, right? So he introduced Mike to Cus. And after guiding Mike through a successful amateur career alongside Teddy Atlas, Cus got Mike his first professional fight against Hector Mercedes. This was in March 1985. By that time, Mike was 19, okay? First professional fight. He won by first round TKO, which was a sign of things to come, okay? Tyson fought 15 times that first year as a professional and won every one of them convincingly, very convincingly. Yeah, that's legendary. That 15 times in that first year, yeah, and dominated every one of them. Now, like I was saying earlier, Cus died a little over a year before Mike became the youngest world heavyweight title holder in history. He took that from another Cus fighter, Floyd Patterson, remember? He was 21. Isn't that something? The next one to break that record was another Cus product, Mike Tyson. He was 20 years old in 4 months, thus supplanting Floyd Patterson's record. Now, following Cus's unexpected death in November 1985, Kevin Rooney came into the picture, right? Because he was already helping Cus train Mike, so he just took over. There's Kevin right there. Kevin, okay. He became Mike's trainer. Okay, after Cus passed away in November 1985. Okay, Kevin Rooney started guiding Mike's career. And Rooney was the one that actually was training him when he got that first title and broke the record. It was like about a year later, almost exactly a year after Cus passed away, as a matter of fact. Joey Faints in the building. What's up, Joey Faints? How are you? Everybody hitting the appreciation button. That's the like button in the JBT. You call it the appreciation button, and I would appreciate it. Ooh, they're looking good too. I'm getting 20 every day now. Wow. I appreciate it. Okay, where were we? Yeah, Mike has won his first heavyweight title, becoming the youngest one ever. Now, Mike was a young sensation in the sport and quickly encapsulated a big following by knocking out 26 of his first 28 opponents. Okay? And I think that's around about the time he's getting ready to go up against Buster Douglas. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. But he knocked out 26 of his first 28 opponents. His knockout record is one of the best the heavyweight division has ever seen. And the brutality of his knockouts, that'll never be forgotten. We still talk about them to this day. Remember what was Michael Spinks, 90 seconds or something? Like a minute and a half for the first round, it was over. Jay said his mother fainted. They were at that fight. Jay and his mother were at the Mike Tyson Michael Spinks fight. He knocked Michael Spinks out so fast, Jay's mother fainted. Yeah. So yeah, those knockouts still talked about right there in 2024. Now Tyson's hugely successful and controversial career ended in 2005, following back-to-back losses. He finished his career with a record of 50 wins, 6 losses, 44 by knockout. And his career spanned 3 decades. Remember, 80, 90, went on up into the 2000s. Yeah, 3 decades. And Mike has said on a regular basis over the years that he owes everything, all of his success, to the late Cus D'Amato. Now, Tyson's idol was Muhammad Ali, who he got the chance to meet when he was in one of those reform schools one time. I remember I saw them on a talk show one night, and Mike asked Muhammad Ali, they were on a Arsenio Hall show together, and Sugar Ray Leonard was there too. Mike asked Ali, do you remember that time you met me at that reform school? And Ali said, yeah, you had on a brown shirt and like blue pants or something. And Mike said, everybody had on a brown shirt and blue pants. Yeah, but he got to meet Muhammad Ali before he became a professional boxer. And that was his idol. And he emulated his idol by becoming world heavyweight champion, at 20 years old. And still, that's still the record to this day. 20 years old, youngest to win a world title. But not for all of, I think Wilfred Benitez is the youngest, because he was at welterweight, he was 17, but Mike is the youngest heavyweight. Yeah, that's not for the whole sport, just for the heavyweight division. Now, he still remains the youngest. Now, Cus's protege, Kevin Rooney, remained Tyson's trainer until 1988. During that time, Tyson beat James Bone Crusher Smith to add the WBA belt to his name before defeating Tony Tudd. And then he added the IBF belt to his mantle. And see, so that made him undisputed because we didn't have the WBO yet. The WBO was just coming around in 88, so I'm not sure whether it was around when Mike had the other 3 yet. Okay. Now, wins over the likes of Tyrell Biggs and Larry Holmes followed. Larry Holmes' win being a significant win for Tyson because he had promised Ali he would get revenge. When Larry Holmes beat Ali, and he promised Ali that when he was 14 years old. Wasn't even a professional yet, but he told Ali he was gonna get Larry Holmes because he said Cus D'Amato would be on the phone talking to these fighters at night, and Mike said he would sneak in the other room and get on the other line, right? There were landlines in houses. A lot of young people don't know about them. You had one phone in this room, one phone in that room. And Mike would sneak in the other room and get on the other phone. And one time he got to talk to Ali when he was 14. And he told him he was going to get Larry Holmes back for him. And he did it. He wasn't even a professional yet when he made that promise. And he kept it. AJ64 in the building. Salute AJ64. Welcome to Cast Sports. We are talking about the legendary Cus D'Amato today. We're at the point now Cus has passed away, and Kevin Rooney has taken over Mike's career as trainer. Don King haven't gave him the axe yet, but that's coming up shortly. Okay. 3 o'clock. I just started at 2. I've been on here about 15 minutes. How's it 3 o'clock already? Wow. That's crazy. Okay, but anyway, Kevin Rooney has taken over his career. And he promised Ali when he was 14 that he was going to beat Larry Holmes for him, and he did it. Okay, he knocked Holmes out inside 4 rounds in 1988. Now that was at that point when his trainer Kevin Rooney, who was Cus D'Amato's protege, was fired by Tyson as a result of advice from promoter Don King. So it was really Don King firing, But Mike is the fighter. He worked for Mike, not Don King. So Mike had to be the one to do the actual firing, right? So Mike fired him, and by that point he had all the Cus's people out of the picture all together. Don King had complete control. Al Booger in the building. What's up, Al Booger? Yeah, Don King has now got complete control of Mike once he got rid of Kevin Rooney. Yep. And then that's when it started going downhill for him. But this is about Cus. Okay, we're gonna do Mike one day. But yeah, that's Kevin Rooney got fired after the Larry Holmes fight as a result of promoter Don King's advice. Now, Cus D'Amato's influence on Mike Tyson was both as a person and as a fighter. Cannot be understated. He was not just Mike's trainer, but someone that Tyson looked up to as a father. And after Cus's death, Tyson has said that Cus was his mentor and taught him pretty much everything about boxing and a lot about life, okay? That peekaboo style that Tyson used, that was learned mainly from Cus D'Amato. And Mike used that to his advantage by unleashing vicious attacks on his opponents from the defensive hand position. And you had those trainers back earlier when Cus was teaching that peekaboo, saying that they didn't like it because they didn't think you could attack from the peekaboo. Well, Mike shot that theory down, didn't he? Because I've seen him knock plenty of people out from the peekaboo style. Okay. Now, the impact of Tyson's uppercuts in his prime was often enough to blow his opponents away. Okay, the uppercut. Cus gave Tyson confidence to transfer the skills learnt in training to professional fights. And that helped Tyson remain undefeated until 1990. You know what happened then? In 1990. And the reliance was mutual. Cus had said that if it wasn't for Tyson, he probably wouldn't have lived for as long as he did. Okay? Now, after one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, to James Buster Douglas in 1990. Remember, Buster came in at 42-1 odds. Mike did regain the title again. He beat Frank Bruno. He got the WBC back. Beat Frank Bruno by TKO. But then he would lose to Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. But when he went to prison and got out, he did become champion again. Okay, but we're not gonna go into all that because this is about Cus D'Amato. Casuals Corner in the building. Salute Casuals Corner. Pasta Pete in the building. Salute Pasta Pete. We're talking about Cus D'Amato. Probably gonna have time to drop the link today. Chop it up a little bit. Remember, Thursday is going to become, every Thursday we're going to drop the link early in the show and just chop it up for the majority of the show. Around 3 o'clock on Thursdays. Every Thursday we're going to drop the link and chop it up for an hour on the show. Okay? Decided to give the supporters a platform to come up and talk some boxing. Not just me all the time, Yeah. So that'll be starting next week on Thursday. We get an hour's worth of link time every Thursday. But salute the Casuals Corner and Pasta Pete. Got the mayor of YouTube in the building. And I lost my place again. Okay. Let's look at Cus D'Amato's personal life, because I was turning this into a Mike Tyson profile for a minute. Back to Cus. Now, Cus D'Amato and Camilla Ewald. She was born in 1905 and lived till 2001. Wow, what is that? That's a long time. 94 years, I believe. Yeah. Okay, they met in the 1940s and entered into a common law relationship. They were never married. Ewald was born in Ukraine. Okay, I didn't want to try to say. He was from Ukraine. Okay, and she adopted the surname Ewald after her family after her family immigrated to Canada. Now, she supported D'Amato in his dedication to training socially challenged youth. If she had to buy in, or Cus would have never been able to do this, you know. She allowed her home to function as a halfway house for Cus's pupils, often fulfilling the role of a mother figure to him, okay? And most notably, Cus and Camille, most notably, they, in anticipation of Mike Tyson's future, they established legal guardianship over the young man in an effort to protect him both personally and financially from the cutthroat boxing establishment. But the cutthroat boxing establishment ended up getting their hooks in the Mike, named Don King. Now, D'Amato and Ewald never married, although their close friendship lasted decades, until his death. Met in the 40s and stayed together all the way up until 1985. Never married, okay? But still had a close relationship. Might as well say they were married. Now, Cus oversaw the training and managing of his fighters, while Camille was responsible for looking after the household chores. Now, Cus D'Amato died of pneumonia at Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan on November 4th, 1988. He was 74 years old. Camille lived till 2001. I believe she was 94. Let's look at Cus's legacy. Yeah, we're going to get a little link time in today, early today. Cus's legacy. Oh, look at some fights of the year or something. Cus's legacy is one which continues to be celebrated within the boxing fraternity. Okay? Continues to be celebrated. He was a mentor. I never showed Teddy Atlas, did it? For Teddy Atlas. He was a mentor for Teddy Atlas during his time in the sport, and worked alongside Teddy with Tyson until an altercation saw him dismissed. Remember, Teddy put a handgun to Mike's head after accusing the former heavyweight champion of inappropriately touching his niece. And Tyson later did admit that he touched her buttocks. Right? Teddy put that thing to his head too. I remember that. That was in the movie. They didn't speak again until about 2017 or something like that. I heard Teddy Atlas talking about on his podcast. They spoke of like 2017, 18, something like that for the first time since then. And that was the early 80s. Mike wasn't even a professional yet. Okay. Okay. Anybody have any ideas for shows that you would like for me to do? Please let me know. Okay. Take all ideas. This was a J Hardcore idea here, Cus D'Amato. Now, since leaving Cus's gym, Teddy Atlas has had successful careers in the sport, leading Michael Moorer to victory over Holyfields via majority decision in 1994 to win the WBA and IBF world titles. Okay. The fighters remember with Atlas giving a motivational talk to Moore in his corner. Remember that? 94. Atlas also trained Russian heavyweight Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin won the WBA belt in 2011. And he also was in Timothy Bradley's corner against Manny Pacquiao in 2016. Was that the robbery? The biggest robbery in the history of boxing? D'Amato's legacy also continued with Kevin Rooney, who trained Tyson from 1985 to 1988 until Don King gave him the axe. Rooney had continued to develop Tyson's rise before he was fired following the fighter's victory over Michael Spinks, remember? Yeah. Rooney remains a trainer and works with young fighters in Catskill, New York, in the same gym that he trained under Cus D'Amato. Yeah. Some of the awards Cus has. Okay. Wait for a minute. He has the Cus D'Amato Memorial Award was established by the Boxing Writers Association of America. It is alternately known as the Boxing Writers of America Manager of the Year Award. Okay. Now, D'Amato, like I said, he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame posthumously in 2005, having trained 3 world champions: Floyd Patterson, Jose Torres, and Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson was his presenter. Okay. George C. Scott portrayed Cus in the 1995 HBO movie Tyson. Yep, remember that. Knockout. The Cus D'Amato story is a screenplay based on his life. Confusing the Enemy is a biographical novel which illustrates the trainer's story from his upbringing in New York to his days as a renowned trainer. Cus has part of a road named after him in New York on 14th Street, where his Gramercy Gym was originally located. Harvey Keitel portrayed Cus in the 2022 Hulu TV series, Mike. Oh wait, that's not it. Yeah, that's it. There you have it, Cus D'Amato. I think we're gonna put in a little link time today, in case anybody want to come up and chop it up with me. Okay. Because we're going to be doing this on Thursdays anyway, starting next week, so we get a little demonstration early today and see what happens. But how's everybody doing this Wednesday? Hope y'all enjoyed the Cus D'Amato profile. Don't forget, you get 2 profiles this week because Friday is the regular profile day, and this Friday it's The Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. Okay, The Hands of Stone this week. Roberto Duran himself. Okay. I'm going to put the link in. And then I'm going to talk about some fights of the year and stuff. If nobody don't want to hit it. But here we go. Let's get this in. Ooh, 100%. Okay. Just give me a momento. Everybody see that video when Cus and Ali was messing around? Yeah, that was nice. Cus always told Ali Joe Louis would get him. He said, you could run, but you couldn't hide from Joe. Yeah. The legendary Cus D'Amato. And Jay Hardcore asked me to do it and missed the whole thing. He'll go back and watch it, though. There's nothing like watching it live, though. Like a good fight. Watching it on tape, you already know what happened. That takes some of the fun out of it. Okay, where's the link? Okay, here we go. It'll be in there in a minute. Anybody come in? You ever think about going back over your lives and chop them up into videos? You got so much good stuff in the lives. Yeah, no, I never thought about that album. That's a good idea, though. A very good idea. I'm always getting good ideas. Al Booker was the one that told me to start making thumbnails. I used to just put Cast Sports Goes Live in the number. So now I make thumbnails. Okay, here comes the link. That's me clicking. I always get it in there the first time this time. Anybody want to come chop it up? Tell me how good the show was? Or tell me how bad it was? You know, whatever. It don't matter. I ain't gonna cry till after I get off if you tell me it was bad. I ain't gonna cry in front of you. Okay? I'm gonna cry at 4:01. Y'all don't see me over there on The Voice, you know I'm over here crying. Somebody said the show was bad. Okay, think. Got it. Okay, there it is. Yeah, tomorrow's show is going to be, I'm going to look at some fighters. Because Ring Magazine came into existence in 1922. And the same year they started naming fights of the year. And they've done it every year all the way up to now. And in 1928, they started naming fighter of the year. I don't know why they waited 6 years to do that, and they done that all the way up to now. Matter of fact, the last one for 2023 was the Monster. Okay, so I'm going to look at fighters of the year tomorrow, and look at exactly what they did in that year to become fighter of the year. Right now, I looked at the first one earlier. Gene Tunney was fighter of the year in 1928, but guess what? He only had one fight in 1928. But I guess box rec could be incomplete because that was a long time ago. But all I could find for him in 1928 was one fight. So that must have been a hell of a fight if he won fighter of the year off one fight. But 1928, they probably didn't have all his fights listed or whatever. That had to be what it is. But that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We're going to be looking at some of the fighters of the year over the years and looking at exactly what they did in that year to deserve fighter of the year. And from 64 to 66, Ali wasn't eligible for the award because of his religious and political beliefs. Okay. But he did win it retroactively in 2016. They gave it to him for 64, I believe, or 66. One of those years in there that he wasn't eligible. They didn't name a fighter of the year because he deserved it. And they finally gave it to him like 30 years later, 50 years later in 2016. Yeah. That's how that went. But that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to pull up some of the fights of the year right now. Okay. And look at them a little. But tomorrow is fighter of the year. Yeah. Let's look at some of the fights of the year. Ring Magazine came into existence in 2022, and they started naming the fight of the year the same year. But they waited 6 years for the fighter of the year. I wonder why. I couldn't get over that. I was looking at it this morning, and Gene Tunney was fighter of the year in 28, the first one, but BoxRec only had one fight for him. But like I said, that was a long time ago, and they probably couldn't find. It was probably incomplete. He had to have more than one. One fight, win fighter of the year. Wow, that must have been. That fight had to be fire. Scrapbook Boxing in the building. What's up, Scrapbook? JBT Network in the building. Oh yeah, you missed it, Jay. Jay, I just figured out during the show how to get you back, so I'm gonna do that after the show. Just do put me down with it. Yeah, so I'm gonna wait till the show and ask somebody. So tomorrow you'll be able to come in on the hardcore boxing news. I erased Jay some kind of way. Can't erase the creator of the JBT. I might find myself out of the JBT doing stuff like that. But salute Scrapbook Boxing and Jay Hardcore, Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz, and Moore's in here. All the historians. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that, Bruce Gas. Yeah, let me take care of that. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, wait a minute, I hit the wrong thing. I hope I didn't erase nobody. Man. Anybody get hit and let me know. Okay. Just a student. Me too, Bruce Gas. Okay. Here we go. Since we finished kind of early, let's look at some fights of the year, man. Ring Magazine started naming them in 1922, when they came into existence. But they didn't start naming Fighter of the Year until 1928. I wonder why those extra 6 years like that for the fighter of the year. I don't want Fighter of the Year. I want Fight of the Year, damn it. I'm going to do Fighter of the Year tomorrow. And also tomorrow, you know, all the decades I went over the last couple of weeks, 20s to 90s, I'm going to pick a dominant fighter from each decade and let you know that tomorrow too. Yeah. Most dominant fighter from each decade. Cast Sports most dominant fighter from each decade tomorrow. From the 20s to the 90s. Don't miss that. The 40s was rough, man, because, you know, you would think it would be Joe Louis, but Sugar Ray was around in the 40s too. Henry Armstrong. I think Henry Armstrong had like 30-something fights between two of those years in the 30s, from 38 to 39 or something like that. Henry Armstrong had like 31 fights and won all of them. That's an entire career nowadays. So he did it in 2 years. He had 20 in 1 year. So he got to be the most dominant, probably the 30s. Now we gave the whole show away. Yeah. But that's the entire career nowadays. He did it in like 2 years, 20 in 1 year. And guess what? They only had 8 weight classes then because we didn't have the supers and juniors. And Henry Armstrong was champion in 3 of the 8. And he missed being champion in 4 because he was going for his 4th weight class and fought to a draw, a controversial draw. If he wouldn't have got that draw and won that fight, he would have been champion in half of the weight class at the same time. But he was champion in 3 at one time. Just missed being champion in half of the weight classes by a draw. Here we go. Now, Ring Magazine started naming fights of the year in 1922 when they came into existence. Okay? And the first one was 1922. I don't know why I can't get it. Now this morning, it came up right away. Now I got everybody here, but I'm gonna get it. Neil Yanaway was it for this year though, this past year. We knew that. He got his second undisputed, you know. the monster. He fights on May 6th. Yeah. His little brother's on the card too. Takuma. They also got a cousin that fights. Yeah. Fighting family. Man. You better throw this phone out the window. Okay. It's Ring Magazine, right? Owned by Oscar right now. It was originally founded by a guy named Nat Flesher in 1922. And the first cover was Tex Rickard, big time promoter back in them days. Yeah. Tex Rickard. Oh, here we go. I got it. Yeah. Tex was a big time promoter back then, and he was on the first cover of Ring Magazine. Thank you, Bruce. Now, the first fight of the year was Harry Greed versus Gene Tunney. Harry Greed won 15-round decision. In 1923, it was Jack Dempsey versus Louis Angel Firpo. Dempsey got him out of there in 2 rounds. Gene Tunney again in 24 versus George Carpenter, 15-round knockout. Look at this. Gene Tunney was almost in every fight of the year for the entire decade. Every other year it was Gene Tunney. 25, it was Harry Greed versus Mickey Walker. Greed won 15-round decision. Again in 1926, Gene Tunney won a 10-round decision over Jack Dempsey. That was the long count fight, remember? No, that was 27, 2. Gene Tunney, Jack Dempsey, 2. The long count fight was Jack Dempsey knocked Gene Tunney down, but he wouldn't go to the neutral corner. And by the time the ref got to the neutral corner, Gene Tunney had recovered and got up. But who knows? If he would have went to the neutral corner in the first place, Tunney might have got on. Tunney might have got up anyway, you know. But as long as the referee not counting, why get up, right? Yeah, but that was the long count fight. That wasn't fight of the year in 1927. Wow. Max Smelling versus Johnny Risco in 29. Just some of the fights of the year. Max Bayer versus Max Smelling in 33. That was a good one. Very good fight. If you're into watching old fights. Joe Louis versus Max Bayer, 35. Of course, Max Smelling versus Joe Louis won in 36. That was the one where Max Smelling won. And then Joe Louis won the title. After that, he said he was not going to consider himself champion until he beat Max Smelling. And then for the second fight, he had a lot of pressure on him because he got called to the White House by the president. I think it was Roosevelt, who was an amateur boxer. Which one was it? Franklin, right? Franklin Roosevelt? Yeah, and he called Joe Louis to the White House before the second fight. I think it was around World War II, or just before the something, and Hitler was acting up over there. And Roosevelt told Joe Louis how important it was for him to win that fight. And when Joe Louis left, he was like, man, I was already putting a lot of pressure on myself, and he said, now I got the pressure of the whole damn free world on myself. But I don't think the second fight won fight of the year because it was just a first round knockout. Joe Louis did not play with his food in that second fight. He got Max out of there in the first round. And when Max went home, because Max didn't support the Nazis, he was a big time opponent of the Nazis. And Hitler forced him to join the military because he lost to Joe Louis when he got back home. Yeah, Hitler forced Max Smelling into the military. But him and Joe Louis became real good friends. Max Smelling was a pallbearer at Joe Lewis's funeral, in fact. Yep. Yeah, scrapbook boxing. Is he over 50, T Hill? Remember, you got to be over 50. That's why I can't come up. I'm not over 50. No. I'll be up there next week, I promise. I say that every week, don't I? Yes, scrapbook boxing. It's an old time for sure every Sunday on the Hangout. You got to be over 50. I think it would start at 8, right? Yeah, 8 o'clock in the Hangout. Yeah, but yeah, Max Smelling was a pallbearer at Joe Lewis's funeral. They became real good friends. Rocky Marciano and Jersey Joe 1 was Fight of the Year in 52. As a Charles too. Rocky was in a lot of fights of the year also. Yes, he was. And the people that say Rocky fought them guys when they were over the hill, that gets me, man, because he fought Joe Louis. Joe Louis was 30-something, but he was the #1 contender on an 8-fight winning streak. Couldn't nobody else beat him. Rocky knocked him off. And then they say, well, Jersey Joe Walcott was over the hill. But guess what? When Rocky fought him, Jersey Joe Walcott was the world champion. How's that over the hill? He was just old, but couldn't nobody else beat him. You got to give Rocky credit for that. This man, Jersey Joe, was the world champion. Okay? And then Archie Moore, they say that about him. But guess what? After Rocky Marciano beat Archie Moore fought 30 more times and only lost once. Okay? So you got to give a man credit and stop that nonsense while he was fighting over the hill guys. Nobody else was beating them. Okay? Nobody else. Remember, Joe Louis was on an 8-fight winning streak, #1 contender. Rocky beat him. When he beat Jersey Joe Walcott was the world champion. How you gonna call that washed up? The man was the world champion. When he beat Archie Moore, after Rocky beat him, Archie had 30 more fights and only lost once. So if they were over the hill, wasn't nobody else beating them but Rocky. Okay? One of my favorites. I get upset when people say that nonsense, man. Those guys, nobody else was beating them. Okay? Rocky knocked them off. 49-0. Only heavyweight ever to retire undefeated. Okay? Now, Gene Tunney was never beaten at heavyweight, but he had one loss. He suffered at light heavyweight, so he didn't retire undefeated. He never was beaten at heavyweight, but he got beat at light heavyweight, okay? I can't remember who did it. It might have been Harry Grebe. I'm not sure. Who was the scrapbook? Max Smelling? Yeah. The scrapbook, do you know who beat Gene Tunney? He had one loss at light heavyweight. He never lost at heavyweight. But he couldn't match Rocky because he had one loss at light heavyweight. So he didn't retire undefeated. I think it might have, I want to say Harry Grebe. D for the win in the building. What's up, D for the win? Salute. We had talked about Rocky Mark. I'm not Rocky. Who did we talk about? Oh, Cus D'Amato. Had a brain lock for a minute there. What they call it, a brain fart. I can't find my name. Yeah, we talked about Cus D'Amato today. His legendary career. You know, he had not just Mike, he had Floyd Patterson, he had Jose Torres, and he had Mike, all world champions, all international Hall of Famers. And he had Floyd Patterson when he was the youngest world champion ever. And his record was broken by another Cus D'Amato fighter, Mike Tyson, was the youngest world champion ever. Of course, Cus had passed away then, but Cus got into that point. Okay. Cus told him he was like 13 or 14, he was going to be world champion, and he did it. And Mike promised Ali when he was 14, he was going to get Larry Holmes back for him. And he did it. He knocked Holmes out after Holmes knocked Ali out. But that was Don King's nonsense, man. Ali had been in the hospital for months before that Larry Holmes fight, and they say Don King forced him to fight because Ali owed him money for hospital bills. Ain't that's some credible stuff. Who needs the mafia? We got people like Don King in boxing. Should have left the mafia in it. Maybe they would have got rid of Don King. But salute D for the win. Good to see you today, bro. Tomorrow is I'm gonna look at fighters of the year, which Ring Magazine started naming in 1928. Go through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 90s, like I did the decade shows, and then I'm gonna go over what they did that year to deserve Fighter of the Year. Okay. And yeah, they started naming Fight of the Year in 1922. Fighter of the Year in 28. And the Fighter of the Year for 23, the current one is The Monster. They owe you anyway. He's fighting Louis Neary May 6th. What is that, like, what? 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Saturday, The Monster back in there. Little brother on the card. I don't think Leary will have anything. I mean, Neary will have anything for The Monster. Nah, I doubt it. But you never know. It's boxing. You never know. Neary might get in there. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Scrapbook. It was Harry Grieve. Okay. That's what I thought. Confirmed by Scrapbook Boxing. It was Harry Grieve that gave Gene Tunney his only loss. Yes. Okay. Yeah, light heavyweight now. Because Gene Tunney never lost at heavyweight. But he couldn't match Rocky's record because he didn't retire undefeated. Okay? Yeah. So Rocky is still the man. We got 2 undefeated heavyweights now, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, but they're not retired. So one of them getting ready to get a loss. Maybe not. It could be a draw, but they got a rematch both ways. I don't see 2 draws. 2 draws, they got to have a trilogy, or 1-1, they got to have a trilogy. But you know the way boxing is nowadays, I can see them each win one of the fights and then just ended at that 1-1. That's how boxing is nowadays, man. You know, that would be a big money fight there. Trilogy, heavyweight division, going for undisputed. 1-1. And then Fury and Joshua got to have that eventually in Wembley Stadium. Yeah, that's a big one. Okay, we got Tim Layton in the building. No. Timothy Bradley. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm looking at something else. I was looking at the actual Tim Bradley's name on my phone. I was looking at the wrong phone. Like Tim Bradley in the building. For the America's Light Heavyweight Championship belt, okay, 1922, Harry Grieve, only man to beat Gene Tunney. Like I'm saying, I look back, Gene Tunney won Fighter of the Year for 1928, but I could only find 1 fight. But that's probably incomplete, you know, since it was so long ago. BoxRec wasn't even around then. Because you would think BoxRec would be able to find the fight, man, you know. Supposed to be a big time organization like that. I'm going to find them, though. Yeah. Because we're going to look at these guys that won Fighter of the Year over the years, and we're going to look at the year and see just why they won Fighter of the Year. 1 loss, who they fought, how they won it, you know. Did they have 6 fights to knock 5 of them out? Gene Tunney had to have more than 1 fight in 1928. Or the fight he won Fighter of the Year must have been that's a barn burner. I forgot who it was he fought. Something is going on with this. Let me go to comment. I don't know what that is. Oh, there we go. All right. Harry Graham. Right. Okay. Yeah. We are winding down another Cast Sports. Still early in the JBT day, though. We got 3 great acts to follow me. Okay. I'm going to try to be in all of them. Just Do Boxing. J Hardcore will be back in the Hangout at 8. And then the Mighty Rides podcast at 9. Closing the show for the day. And then we'll all be back tomorrow for another day of JBT action. Yeah, I was looking at my phone. I had his name on a fight I had pulled up D for the win, and I thought I was reading the chat. I'm like, Tim Bradley in the building. Yeah. No, he is not JBT approved. He would have to get the hammer. The 86K Tim Bradley coming here. Everybody is approved to give him the 86K. You know? Yeah. Get him up out of here because he'll come here with that nonsense. It's like he talk on TV. But hope everybody enjoyed the profile today. You get 2 profiles this week because Friday's going to be Roberto Duran. We're going to look at his life and career. 4 King. He actually had the worst record of the 4 Kings, though, you know. There were 9 total 4 Kings fights. Duran was in 4. No. Duran was in, how many was he in? He was in 5. He only won 1 of them. He fought Sugar Ray 3 times. He fought Hagler Hearn. Yeah. He was 1-4. Sugar Ray was in the most, he was in 6 4 Kings fights. He won 4, 1-1. Hearns was in 4. Hearns was 1, 3-1. No, 1, 2-1. And Hagler was the only 4 King that never had a rematch with any other. The only one that never rematched another 4 King. He wanted to, but Sugar Ray was scared. You know, Sugar Ray was scared. Sugar Ray knew. Hagler waited 14 months. And Sugar Ray stayed retired. And then as soon as Hagler retired, a month later, Sugar Ray came back. And I like Sugar Ray, but that's a duck right there, man. That's a classic textbook duck. He could at least waited 6 months to come back. You're going to say, oh, the coast is clear, safe, and then go back a month after Hagler retired. So Hagler should have came back and saw what Sugar Ray would do. He probably would have retired again. He did not want to fight that man again. I thought Hagler beat him the first time. You know? You know? What y'all think? Yeah. When Tim ain't on ESPN, he gives some pretty good talk. But, you know, Al Booker on ESPN, he got to follow the agenda. Now, you catch him on some of those channels, those big channels where you go to, like, what's that guy name? Fight Hype and them. Tim gives some excellent boxing talk on them. But when he on the ESPN calling the fights, he have to follow the agenda they give him. You see, Andre Ward ain't there no more, is he? Andre stopped following that agenda. Andre said, I can't say this mess y'all gave me to say. I ain't reading this. But Tim is willing to do that, you know, for the money. But I've seen him give some good fire talk too, Al Booker. Oh, for ESPN? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tim is a very knowledgeable boxing guy. But he got to follow that agenda. I don't even listen to him. I'll listen to KQKC or Bruce Gass or Just Do or somebody when they call it fights, but I don't even listen to ESPN. You know, you'll see a guy land 15 punches and the other guy land 2. Then when they show the highlights after the round, they'll show the 2 punches the one guy landed and say he won the round. It won't show nothing of the guy that landed 15 punches. Yesterday, the guy that landed 2 punches wasn't around. See, there he is right there. So the only 2 punches he connected with. That's ESPN for you, man. Yeah. They are terrible, man. They are terrible. All the networks, they have a little stuff with them, but ESPN is just bad, man. Just bad. Remember the what they call it on Devin? The clinch count? Never seen it before or after. They had a clinch count on them, man. They had a clinch count, yeah. And they gave it to Tim Bradley. That's your job to keep track of the clinch count. And that dummy did it. I would have told him, you take this clinch count and put it where the sun don't shine. And I quit, man. We make a lot of money, I guess. I couldn't do it, though. I guess that's why I stayed poor. I couldn't do it, man. Nah. No. But that's life. But I just don't listen to them. That's all. Just don't listen. That's all. Okay, but tomorrow will be the fighter of the year. We're gonna look at some fighters of the year. Then we're gonna look at the year and go over some of their fights. See if they really deserved it. I would say Monster really deserved it this year. Last year, he won undisputed. He fought. How many times did he fight last year? And then the way he won undisputed. That was shocking, man. Remember that? Then the same week, lightning struck twice. We was like, well, we're going to get a good fight Saturday. Nobody that happened again. It happened all over again. Where's Cool Boy? Anybody heard anything about Cool Boy since then? Since the Monster fight? I mean, he got knocked out, and he should be cleared to fight again by now, shouldn't he? That was what? It's April, July, August, September, October, November. And that's like what, 8-9 months. But I haven't heard anything about Cool Boy. He'll be back in. Yeah, me neither, Bruce Gas. Nothing. I mean, you get knocked out, you get suspended or something like that, right? But damn, he could have been back by now, I guess. Waiting on a date and venue. Okay, Al Booker, thank you. Okay. He didn't say a name. Who he's fighting? Where is he still at 22? Because he had went to 26 and had a fight. Remember? Wasn't a fight against he actually fought at 126, didn't he? I think. Yeah. Where he had a tough inside fight against the guy, he pulled it out. So I wonder if he moved up. Let's see. I think I don't see nobody at 126 that can handle the Monster either, to tell you the truth. No. The Monster's a bad man. Okay, we're gonna get ready for the voice of the streets. He been on fire lately. Yeah. That's just do boxing. But still early in the day. We had hashtag Let's Fashion today. Who knows? Might get a casual's corner in there somewhere. Turn your notifications on. But you are getting Just Do Boxing next, and then the Hangout at 8 and Rise Podcast at 9. And that'll be it on another JBT day. Did I put the link in? Yeah, I think so. It's too late now. I'm getting ready to get out of here and going on over to Just Do. Hope everybody enjoyed the Cus D'Amato profile. And you get 2 this week. Friday. Remember, The Hands of Stone. Roberto Duran. Friday. Don't miss that. Did Thomas Hearns last week. So you know who's going to be next week, either Hagler or Sugar Ray, right? But you don't know which one. Okay, I'll tell you after Friday, after the Roberto Duran profile. Okay, about 5 minutes away from the voice of the street. Okay, D4 to win, J Hardcore, hashtag JBT, Pasta Pete, Casual's Corner, Al Booger, Jewelry Faints, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more, BN Boxing News, BVO Boxing TV, Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT, Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Hope you enjoyed the show, Mr. Mayor. Miss Joette was in the building today. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus, E-Class, Remo, hashtag Let's Talk Fashion, hashtag JBT, Freestyle Media Sports, hashtag JBT, Just Do Boxing, the voice of the streets. Coming up in about 5 minutes. Mike Masick, Ray Patterson, Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, the Executive Vice President of Cass Sports, and the brains behind the operation. Appreciate everybody. Be back tomorrow at 2. Because you know, if it's a weekday and 2 o'clock, it's the Boxtorian. Your friendly neighborhood Boxtorian. We'll be back tomorrow at 2. Okay? Hope to see everybody then. Hope you enjoyed the show today. I'm going to take a nap. Okay? Everybody have a good day. Okay? I'll see y'all somewhere later on. Cass Sports is gone. Cass Sports has left the building.